Good afternoon and welcome to Road Gateway Rotary. Can Zoom hear me now?
Yes.
All right, perfect. We're going to keep testing the sound here for today. Everyone will have to come up to the mic. All right. So Cindy, you want to come up and lead us in the pledge, please?
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, and then we are also going to recite the four-way test, which we're going to get put up in the screen in just a second until we can get a banner up. So if you will join me in the four-way test of all the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. All right, you may be seated. And Donna, you have an inspiration for us. When I come up.
Hi, everyone. I saw this on the internet and it kind of resonated with me, and I hope it does with you as well. One of the hardest lessons in life is letting go, whether it's guilt, anger, love, loss, or betrayal. Change is never easy. We fight to hold on and we fight to let go.
Thank you. Okay. Let's do introductions. Zara, would you like to come up? I know you've got a visitor who signed in, and I'm looking around the room to see. We've got a few people, so you'll have to come up to introduce your guests.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm happy to introduce my. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy to introduce Tahir Yahya, who is my husband. He is a guest today.
Okay.
She's trying to not get the tick on to go from red badge to blue badge. And I thought that was, she's bringing a guest, but she's got to tell a story about him or something. She's going to do something easy, like bring her husband to it as a guest. That's an easy one. Sitting at my table with me is Sue Bondison, and she's applied to be a member. So she's kind of in between the application stage and the guest stage. Welcome, Sue.
I'm super happy to introduce Jason Kay. Jason, stand up, would you? Jason is an RCC graduate. He's been one of my best friends from RCC because we met when I started in 2014. Graduated from Glide High School, Marine Corps veteran. Thank you for your service. Just finishing up 10 years at Road Roasters in the back. So he's been roasting all those beans. So if you enjoyed it, and he's going in, starting his own small business, and I'm recruiting him for the club.
Any other guests? John. I see what's happening here.
I want to reintroduce a longtime member and long absent daughter of mine, Christina Marie Dodd.
Hi, Christina. We're very happy to see you again. We're seeing a lot of faces. Ellie McCoy is back. No. Tommy is back. We're so happy to see you, Tommy. All right. So welcome to everyone. And we will, of course, have a speaker as well, who we will introduce shortly. But I'm going to go to announcements. And again, if you have anything you want to share, you got to come up to. Oh. We have another guest. Oh. So Patty Toronto's husband, Jerry Loomis, is here again. Welcome, Jerry. Nice call out, Kelly. Okay, announce, oh. Lovely, all right. Announcements, speaking of announcements, if you have an announcement, come to the front because you'll have to use the microphone, and I know Jan has one, and I bet Doug might have one or two. And it looks like Laurel has one, so come on up.
Hi there. So Patrice made me do this. This is about the Shining on Light on Hunger that's going to be happening, the gala. It's on June 22nd starts at 6 p.m. and it's at the brewing company. I always forget the name of that place. Weekend Brewery. We've all been there before, right? Okay, so I'm going to read the back of this so you get all the information because she just handed it to me as I was leaving this morning. We are excited to invite you to our annual Shining Light on Hunger fundraiser and first ever Hunger Hero Award ceremony on June 22nd at Weekend Brewery Company. All proceeds from this event will benefit the 15,000 plus children and families in Josephine County who struggle with food insecurities. We would love for you to join us. Enjoy live music by Alan Giornelli, food by Catalyst Pizza, Taco Mania, and Valentino's. Go home with something that you love with our live and online auction and celebrate people and organizations who make this work possible. So I left these on your table. If you need more, I have more. There's a way to read the codes and buy your ticket and nominate a hunger hero for the award. So don't miss it. And that's it.
Hi, I just wanted to let you know we've got about half of the people who have turned in their dues, and it would be really great if we could do that and get it done by the end of June. And if you have forgotten, it's $125, and you just send it in to let's see, what's 14? It's in a, yeah. Bill box. Yeah. So do that. And if you need something more, if it's like, oh, I don't quite understand, just give me a call here, which is 541-787-9433. Okay, that's it.
I have an eye drop prescription that comes in a little, not little, but in a styrofoam ice chest. And so at the back table, if you're here and you want a little styrofoam ice chest with a couple of freeze packs things in it, take it away. If nobody takes it and somebody at Zoom wants it, get in touch with me, because otherwise I hate to throw away styrofoam.
Okay, so Porch Fest announcements. So again, we need staplers to go to Steve Rowe's office to finish stapling those event programs. And don't staple your fingers. Steve is not sympathetic. He's not gonna say anything nicely to staple your fingers. No, you're out of luck. He might give you a Band-Aid, maybe not. And Steve, so when that gets close to being done, let me know and I'll send out an email or something. So I imagine we're maybe 1/3 through it by now or something like that, maybe. How far along are we? How much? Okay. So anyway, we're doing 2,700 event programs we're doing. So there's a lot of stapling. Porch Fest signups, I'll send an email out in a couple days for that. And it's basically a morning shift or an afternoon shift. And there really isn't any assignments. A couple people have been assigned certain things ahead of time, truck delivery and that kind of stuff. That's about it. But other than that, it's either show up in the morning shift or the afternoon shift or both. And I'll send out an email reminder about that, where to meet and everything. That's pretty much it. The bulk of what we will do probably during the event, unless you're already doing something, the bulk of what we do is just walk around and either answer questions or try to sell raffle tickets, which is one of our fundraising portions of this thing, which is just a $10 raffle ticket for a variety of things we have. I think that's it. Yeah, you have all the trash cans you need. I think I have all the trash cans we need. A couple people have said they will bring them, and as long as they do, we should be good.
All right, any other announcements for the good of the order? All right, well, then I will have Judy Basker come up and introduce our speaker.
Well, how many of you guys already know Bradley Converse down here? Yeah, I mean, I met him, I forgot how I met him, but I remember calling him and saying I worked at RCC and I was calling on local businesses and went in and I just was mesmerized. I think he's a very charming young man, man. And I said right away that why don't you run for county commissioner? So for almost 10 years, we've been fighting about that. But if anybody else agrees with me, because I think he could do the putters and both at the same time. Anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about him. Brad was born and raised in Grants Pass, graduate of North Valley and Oregon State. He's a super smart guy. He's an engineer, worked in military contracting for about how many years? 10 years. He loves golf and that's his passion. And he's been making special putters that hold the story. Married to his wife, Kayla, for 12 years this month. Happy anniversary. And 3 really great little kids. He's a huge volunteer in the community. Is special credibility. He has a way of engaging with people that he's not passive, but he's not aggressive, and he's so smart. It's just, I'm just a huge fan. I'm going to let him talk about his putter company more, but he has made putters for members of Augusta, the CEO of Intel, a member of the royal family of Kuwait, and even Bill Murray. And so I'm going to let you say the rest. Let's welcome Brad from Bradley.
Thank you for having me. I was in Rotary for several years. I tried to front load a lot of my volunteer work in the area before I had kids. And now I've got 8, 5, and 1.5. And we're done there because if we had another, the 1.5-year-old, she's always trying to do something to off herself. So it's a lot of work. So I've been on almost a dozen different boards. Right now, I'm the chair of the YMCA board there. We just hired a new CEO, background check cleared today, so we can finally announce that. There'll be a press release coming soon, but we've got a great new CEO coming July 10th. On the Parks Committee, we got a meeting for that later, and then the CEDC as well. So try and stay busy, but I like being kind of in the background because I don't want to be in an elected position where I actually have to talk to anybody. I like to choose who I talk to. So if you know what I mean. Anyways, so yeah, Bradley Putter Company, 2016. I was told I needed to move to Virginia. I wanted to keep my job doing engineer work, and I didn't want to move to Virginia. How many of you guys have been to Virginia? How many of you would want to move to Virginia? There we go. I love it here. I mean, just the connections I have here. I can go just about anywhere, and if I don't know that person, they know my dad or some relative or my grandparents helped them out. So it goes a long ways to have that reputation. I just love it here. So I started looking for something else to do. And has anyone been, it's gone now, but the Real Mother Goose store in downtown Portland? Yeah, so it's super high-end furniture, really nice. And we used to go there every like Thanksgiving, we'd go up to Vancouver and we'd just walk around that store. My dad did really fine art like boxes and really small cutout stuff. So I have scars on my body from stealing his X-Acto knives and dropping them on myself and then trying to hide. Yeah, it was terrible. But I saw this really cool wooden drum. It had some cutouts on it, and I pictured a golf ball dropping on it. And I was looking for something to do. I have a mechanical engineering degree from the Oregon State Honors College, but then a business minor. So just enough to get myself in trouble. And that's kind of what I did. Saw a wooden drum, pictured a golf ball dropping on it. That was Black Friday of 2016. On Saturday, I built a website, just a landing page with some ads, just see if people even be interested in something. If I started it, there was some interest. Sunday, I went on my computer, built designs. Monday, I called up, you guys remember Gene Ketwig? I went over to his garage and built my first putter right in Gene's garage there. Second one I made on Tuesday. My idea for what I was going to do was terrible. It was going to have like these cutouts in it. It was going to make a hollow sound, kind of like a drum when you hit it. I pivoted from that like day 2. It wasn't going to work. But I realized I've got Greg Dahl at Oregon Burls has amazing burl wood out there. I could use that to make really cool putters. And so Wednesday, I went to a pawn shop and bought 2 old putters, and I hacked off the head of it and glued it into my own. And Thursday, I had them out at Grants Pass Golf Club and was putting there. I'm like, these actually worked. The first one was pretty bad. I still have it. It's trash. The second one was pretty good. That one's in half though, because right after doing that, I took it to the driving range to do some destruction testing, and it destructed. But I learned a lot from that. And so that was December 2016. By the end of January of 2017, so less than 2 months later, I got invited to the PGA show. It's the biggest golf convention in Orlando, and golf.com saw me there, and they wrote up a whole article on the best products from PGA show, and I was the top one on that webpage. So that was pretty cool. Thank you. So I knew I was onto something. I still didn't know exactly what. The business is taking a lot of turns. I don't want to give like a full, it's six and a half years in now. What I want to talk about today is what I'm doing now. So I'm solo. I rent Bob and Debbie Brownell's space down on 6th Street between H and I. Love it there. I've got a tenant there. So now it's just me in the back. I've got another guy renting out the whole front. Used to have a really cool front space, but it was easier just to rent it to one guy that wants to use it for himself. And I'm in my little cave making putters all day. It's great. So I want to talk about stories. What I found is that my putters, they don't sell in pro shops. People, if you see one of my putters, it's just, oh, there's a putter, and you kind of have some questions about it, but it's not that special to you. What happens is when you're playing with it on the course, people ask about the putter. And so what I found is I can wrap stories into a putter. So much business happens on the golf course. You have hopefully 4, sometimes up to 6 or more hours with another person golfing, where you just need things to talk about. And the putter can be a great conversation piece because there's 18 holes worth of stories built into these. So what I found is people were saying, oh yeah, people are recognizing these, within a few months, the word had gotten out. I did a bunch of social media, and people up in Canada were recognizing them from across the fairway. Like, hey, is that a Bradley putter? And they want to know the story. So the putters I'm going to show you today, a bunch of pictures. I brought one and a few other things you can come up and check it out later. I don't want to pass it around and just get, salad dressing over it. So no worries. But I'll stick around afterwards if you want to come up and check it out. But yeah, I want to talk about some of the most interesting stories. And what's cool is all these stories are from putters from this year. I don't have to go that far back. Pretty much every single putter I do holds a really special story. So let's dive into it. So first one, let's see how this works. I think Thursday Rotary presentation. There we go. There we go. All right, so you can just, so first one, guy named Ross. He is a superintendent up in Walla Walla, the Walla Walla Country Club. Got to play up there, shot a 74, I think. It was awesome. And he reached out, said his brother was one of the lead engineers at APL in working on this satellite project, sending a satellite to Europa. So it's one of the moons of Jupiter. And he wanted to make something for his brother, just special, something that his brother would probably end up painting on the wall. But I always try to get people to actually play them because they play beautifully. But he wanted to tell a story. And the satellite itself was kind of boring. It's just, looks like any old satellite. So there's not a whole lot to go off there. So these are the 2 things that he wanted. On the right, there's it's a poster that was kind of just cool artwork created for this mission that they put on like some t-shirts and stuff. It was really cool. And his brother was really proud of it. So he thought that was worth putting on there. And then the image on the left was actually really hard to get. There was a t-shirt that was made. This is a magnetic path for some of the imaging stuff they're doing. I don't even fully understand exactly what it was, but the one he sent me was really blurry. So I actually had to contact NASA. Be like, hey, I'm making a putter. I had to find everything, and I sent multiple emails, finally got the message back from the person who created it that said, hey, the guy who created it actually loves golf. So he's allowed a one-time use to put this on a putter. And so I was able to get that. The way I do this is I take a laser engraver. These are all wood putters, so wood and acrylic. And I take a laser engraver and I split up the image into the different color areas. I engrave one color area, pour acrylic in that using UV resin acrylic. Engrave the next area, pour resin in that. I'll do that up to 10 different times I have to register using a cool method I'd made up where I drop clear acrylic, cure it, drop black acrylic, cure it, drill a laser hole through it so that then when I line up a red dot laser over it, I can see the refraction underneath and I know exactly down to like the 10th of a millimeter right where I'm at, and I can engrave again. So all that to say, I got that image. I wanted to put that on top of the putter, and I got that poster. I wanted to put that on the bottom of the putter. So let's go to the next one. And this is the putter I made. So the bottom there, pretty obvious. That's the poster image. And you can see each color there was a different run. So I use my laser engraver. It takes 15 minutes or so to do a pass, just going back and forth. And then I use the UV resin. I have to create all the swirls by hand. Like, you can see the red dot, it's swirling there. I get everything just right, have to get all the bubbles out of it with the torch and then hit it with the UV light about 10 minutes and that cures it. And then line everything up again, put it back through to do the blue, to do all the different colors of blue. Then on the top, what I did was I did just kind of a flood of white acrylic and I did a bunch of swirls. You can kind of see it's just a cool look, but then I did the blue acrylic. And when there's not really sharp lines, I'll do light blue and dark blue kind of together and just swirl it all. So yeah, now when he, he also wanted APL, NASA, and JPL on the side, but he wanted the APL to be on the top because he's part of APL. I think they're the most important ones. So yeah, that's the first putter there. Just got it off to him, and I think he's giving it to him. Like it's like for a wedding that's coming up in a week or two. So it's always fun to hear back from people about how I've actually I don't have that putter up there. This is a story from a long time ago. But one guy, anyone know what shillelaghs are? So they're these Irish like walking stick things, like they're really small and they're really like burled and gnarly. And a guy sent me half dozen or so and wanted me to put those in a putter for his dad because they were his grandpa's. Cut them up, put them on top in a really cool layout. And he said he's seen his dad cry 3 times in his life, twice at funerals and once when he got a Bradley putter. Let's do the next one. All right, so this is the putter that I did. That's one of my best clients is the part of the royal family of Kuwait. And this is for Jura for his golf coach. He wanted a putter just to thank the guy. I mean, Jura was not very good and he's gotten a lot better thanks to the golf coach. So I want to do a Christmas gift as a thank you. So the golf coach is Korean and we wanted to do something that had cultural significance for Korean. The first thing I was thinking was maybe doing like a 3D printed village. And it was just getting busy and impossible to do. A lot of times I take on jobs where I don't know exactly what I'm going to do until or how I'm going to do it when I sign on. All I knew with this one is that he wanted a really cool Korean design. So the pathway moved a little bit. And there's this Danchong style. I butchered that, I'm sure, but it's that really cool painting style on there. Really colorful, really bright colors, symmetric designs. And then the window, you'll notice there, it's a wood slat window with a special kind of paper behind it. And so this is what I made. So next page. So you can see on the left there, that took like 10 different passes with the laser to get that design down and then focused on really bright colors. And that's just the entire bottom of the putter. I try to make the bottom of the putter the wild part and the top of the putter is where there's straighter lines and it's less crazy, especially if I want someone to actually use it on the course. And on the top there, I lasered out a wood pattern that matches the window and actually got the legit paper that from Korea, like that exact style of paper to put underneath there. Just something that when people see it, he gets a chance to talk about his Korean heritage, some of the temples that are near him, because most of the temples in Korea kind of use this design and just something he can be proud of. Page. All right, one of my friends, Joe, met him at the PGA show in Orlando. He is like, as much as I'm a like B to C level celebrity in the golf world, like if I go to the right area or the right course at the right time, someone either knows me or has one of my putters. It's fun. Joe though works with everybody. He's their agent. He knows just about everybody. Like and there's a YouTube golf world, a bunch of people do YouTube golf. He controls all that. So he finally got invited to Augusta. It was one of his life achievements. He kind of doesn't know what to do now with his life because he was always trying to get to the point where you get invited to Augusta National. It's super exclusive, super private. He got the invite. So he wanted to get 2 putters made for the member and then the member's son, who's the one that invited him. So you got, this is Magnolia Lane. This is the entrance to the clubhouse. You can kind of see the magnolias there. There's bark, there's the road, and then there's the clubhouse in the back. And then the next picture is hole 12. So you can see there's a bridge on the left, there's the sand bunkers, and just, I don't know, some cool flowers behind it. What's cool with this one is one of my other past clients actually worked at Augusta for a while and smuggled materials out for me, which very illegal, and won't mention names. but he got me sand, he got me some like pine straw, got me some different things. So next page. That's what I made for him. On the left there, you can see Magnolia Lane, obviously. I incorporated into the roadway. Actually, for that one, same guy smuggled back some of the wall at hole 17 at the St. Andrews. So I crumbled up some of that dust and put it in the walk or into the road there. And then with the pine straw, that's in there as well, creating some of the pigments. Again, one that took forever to do. And I did 2 of these. So that was fun. And they were rushed too. It was a lot of sleepless nights for that one. And then on the right there, you can see hole 12. So same thing with some of the part of the wall is in the bridge there. And then the sand has sand from Augusta in it, which it's interesting. The sand from Augusta is actually quartz. It's not sand. So when you get it wet, it goes clear. So I actually had to dope that with some white powder so it actually looks white. There's sand in there, but you wouldn't know it because it just goes clear as soon as it gets wetted. And then some of the azalea flowers and dogwood are up on the top there as well. Let's go to the next one. All right, there's a guy on, anyone know what Reddit is? Social media site. On the subreddit golf, there's a golf subreddit where there's this one guy, everyone on the subreddit loves him. He got terminal cancer. He's actually at St. Andrews right now because everyone kind of paid to get him there. He tells the story all the time. And I've historically done a Secret Santa thing for that subreddit where someone random gets one of my putters once a year. Just kind of, I get a lot of business from there. So just as a thank you, I give away one. This guy, they didn't do Secret Santa last year for a lot of reasons. So I just decided I'm going to gift this guy a putter. And so every putter starts with about a 30-minute phone call. He's mentioning that he loves, he actually has like a PhD in astrophysics and loves gravity and all that. So we decided to make a James Webb Space Telescope design where I took that array, the gold array, put that as the alignment line on top. And then I think the next image that's the first deep field image that James Webb Space Telescope ever took. So then on the next slide, that's what I made for him. We've got the really cool black quilted maple. And then, so it's stabilized and dyed. It's not just regular wood. I make it, I vacuum in a juice and then bake it so that it becomes rock hard. Well, not too hard, but just the right hardness and then much more durable. So you got the array on top, and then on the bottom there, I took the most important elements of that deep field image, even the gravitational lensing, which he loved, and then engraved out those areas. But then you can see like some of the areas have green and white blended together. I'm looking back and forth from the image to that. I actually use, and it was kind of hard to get them, diabetes needles. I fill those and I use that because it has to be that precise, but the pharmacy was sure I was going to do nefarious things with them. So I had to like bring over samples like, no, this is what I do. And they're like, okay, fine. I actually did to go get some more. So that's going to be another fight. Anyways, let's go to the next one. All right, this is for Natalie. So Natalie reached out and she got married in front of the Matterhorn. And then you can kind of, it's really small, but there's a family crest there that's a bee with an arrow on it. And she wanted to get a putter for anniversary gift. So go to the next slide there. So I put the bee from their family crest kind of on the, or the friendly brand as the alignment. And then on the bottom, I took an image of the Matterhorn that kind of matched exactly where they got married and put the date on the bottom there. And I did it kind of as a relief. So it's just a single color on a cool dark wood. She wanted the blue acrylic to have sparkles in it that kind of looked the way the snow looks. So I chose because I make everything by hand. So I mix the clear acrylic and then I add powders to it until it looks exactly how I want it. Let's go to the next one. All right, my friend Evan, best friend from college. He owns one of the largest pet stores on like the Western hemisphere of Canada. On the Eastern side, there's a group called the Legault Group that owns a handful of other pet stores. They did a merger and really great deal for my buddy. He made out like a bandit and they're working together now. He got everything he wanted. He wanted to make some putters as a thank you. So we did 7 putters total as a thank you to them, to the family for the great merger. And what we want to do there was something that they could actually play with because they're business people, they play at Augusta and whatever else, flying around on their private jet. He wanted something that was really classy, but then had some special story to it. He got some wood from the first store they ever started. And we were thinking maybe we'd make the putter out of that. Actually, he was thinking that. I was pretty sure that wasn't going to work because it was pine. It was really soft and it was really boring looking. But it was really obvious that it was like a grainy pine. So I wanted to take that and use some elements from their logo. So I pulled out the A as the alignment line and I pulled out that circle logo to use on the bottom. But what I did was I engraved the area out where I wanted to put it. And then I created then I engraved the relief of that with the wood from their original store. So let's go to the next page so you can see that. So I took a really gorgeous wood. All the putters came from the same piece of wood that I provided, but then they all had those little small elements in them where, you're looking at it at first, you don't necessarily notice that that's wood, but then you see the grain. And then, as the story develops, I love but wait, there's more aspect to it where they see, oh, that's cool. Like that's your logo. Wait, that's wood. Oh, that came from your first store. And it just goes deeper and deeper. And it's those sentimental values that make these things priceless. Like that, who'd ever sell that on eBay, right? Like it's so personal. So next one, Pat Gelsinger, he's the CEO of Intel, and he's actually a family friend. So my aunt and uncle, they run a charity in Kenya. His wife's on the board of that charity, and they wanted to get him something nice. What do you get for the person who has everything, right? That's really my specialty, is when you're making, when you have a golfer friend who you want to make something special and you can't get that off Amazon, that's when people call me. So Pat actually developed the 486 chip. That was kind of one of the first things he did back in, I think it was the 80s. And so talking to him for about half hour, he was proud of that. And then his faith, really important to him as well. He sent me one of the original silicon chips, and we were going to try and like cut out a cross, but silicon is impossible to work with. Like it just cleaves, it cuts, shatters so easily. So after trying to make that and failing, I just kind of broke everything and realized this kind of looks like a stained glass window. So let's go to the next one. So on the right there, I made a stained glass effect with that 486 chip that he designed. And then on top, I used that CPU just kind of as the top piece for it. So really strong ties to his faith. Also, I took wood from his grandparents' orchard. So everything about this is kind of who he is and what makes him tick. And so that's Pat Gelsinger in a putter. Next one. All right, this one was not all of my putters are for everyone, I'll say. They're for a specific person for a specific reason. So, there's plenty of times I'll make a putter and people are like, oh, I would never use that. I'm like, yeah, because it's not for you. This is for Emma to give to her I think it's boyfriend. And they're Vietnamese with more money than they know what to do with. So they love Richard Mille watches, which are $1 million watches, like literally multi-million dollars in a watch. It's crazy. That's a picture of the sunset they love. They've got their Rolls Royce they love. And then I don't know much about it, but there's like a cartoon thing in Korea that they love. And so she wanted all that in there, and she wanted a lot of detail. So it kind of looked like a Richard Mille watch, but a putter. So let's go to the next one. So this is what I made. I've actually got it here. Took a bunch of elements from that, the Rolls Royce, their dog, they're all 3D. Like I did a black acrylic and then engraved, I cut it out, did all the different colors engraved, hand did the acrylic, and then on the bottom did a bunch of watch gears, Vietnam, their initials, the date they got together, all that. Again, not for everyone, but she's stoked. Let's do the next one. All right, so this one, Steven sent me a baseball bat. He's played baseball with some really cool people. He's not a pro himself. I made putters for pros, but this guy he happened to play and like hit a homer with this bat off someone really cool, wanted to memorialize it, and loves the Phillies. So I took that bat, added weights to it. Each putter has 7 to 8 weights inside of it. You just can't tell typically. And then I put the Philly Fanatic, it's with a PH, put that on the bottom and shafted that one up for him. To the next one. All right, this one's for Eric, and it was for his dad. And he wanted a picture of his dad, but then there's one kid there, there's 2 kids over there. I had to merge those images together. And he wanted the image of, I think it's in Michigan, there's a beach there, but he wanted it at sunset. So let's go to the next page. And that's what I came up with. So added some waves, got really dark colors, created a silhouette using all the different images, put them together. And then actually I was at Bandon, and again, just anytime I go to any nice golf course, someone there has one of my putters or knows me. So I was getting off 18 and they came out of the clubhouse there and wanted to get a picture. So but he loves it and he took it to play because they're fully playable putters. Next one, we're almost there. This is Huntington Beach. And the client for this just wanted a really cool Huntington Beach inspired putter with that scene on the bottom. So let's go next. There you go. So you've got sunset scene. And so like, as I'm doing it, I will mix all the acrylics before I cure it. I mix them together and I add like waves, and I try to add movement to it before I cure it. Because as soon as I cure it, it just sets. If you do it really flat, it looks terrible, but when you swirl things together like that, you get really cool patterns. And there was a crazy piece of wood, took part of the Huntington Beach logo as the alignment line on that one. Next one. This is a cool one for Brittany was getting one for her boyfriend who was in the Marines. So I put the Eagle Globe and anchor on the bottom. There's a bullet on the top of there. And then around the side, I put the names of, I tried to do like the Vietnam Memorial kind of style. Those are the names of his fallen brothers. And so I put that around the putter for him. Next one. This one was for Faye over in the UK and as an anniversary putter. 10 TIN was one of the elements she wanted to use. So I created, and then his family has strong ties to boating. So I took an anchor and that was a pain to make. I had to figure out how to like pour tin, and I eventually used wood as like a relief to pour it in there and then sand it off, put that on top. And on the bottom, their one daughter's name has Fox in the middle of it. The other one's nickname is Honey. So I created a cool image, found some stuff online that I was able to work together for a fox and then the honey with their initials next to it. Just a little cute, but also something fully playable. And there's an image, you can't see it here, but there's a heart with their initials on it, kind of like it's carved into a tree. So kind of wanted a bit of a Winnie the Pooh type vibe to it. Next one. These ones are just cool. People send me cherry wood. And so then they wanted an azalea leaf or azalea flower as the alignment line. And this one, you can't fully see it, but that's the outline of Michigan. David wanted a putter for one of his banker buddies, but wanted like a strong Michigan tie to it without like, we'll still kind of looking natural. Next one, we're almost there. That's Bill Murray. So the Boersmas, Amber and Brant, they bought an NFT that allowed them to meet Bill Murray, and they wanted to get him something special. This was the image kind of they bought. They have like a big cool art piece of it. So you notice the bow tie, the 3D glasses, and Bill Murray. So let's go to the next one. That's what I made for Bill Murray. There's him using it. Put the 3D glasses on the face, and then I actually went and got fabric. I tried multiple different stores to get the exact right fabric, and I made a bow tie, put it on top, poured acrylic on it, so there's a 3D bow tie on it. And what's funny, they put initials on the bottom of it, like his initials, but I got to see video of him opening it up. He says wow about a dozen times in 30 seconds, which is really cool. But then when he sees the initials, like, oh, good. So if someone ever has a putter and they're trying to say it's theirs, like with the bow tie and the 3D glasses, like, nope, it's got my initials on it, which is kind of what I shoot for. I want to have putters that are so obviously certain persons that you don't need to put anything like that on there. It's just, you're not going to find them on eBay. They're priceless heirlooms is kind of what I shoot for. I think that's the last one. Yeah. So then the other one, I meant to bring it, but you're going to have to show up to the weekend for the food bank. I made a putter for the food bank. I usually do one for them every year. I get hit up by charities all the time. Right now I support Food Bank, Sante Foundation, Wildlife Images, and then like one or two others, not too many. It's just me and I only have so much time. But for them, so Raptor Creek Farms was named after a raptor that was in a tree on the property there on the creek. That tree recently fell over. They provided me wood from that. So the wood for the putter is made from that tree. And then on the top, I kept it simple, very playable, just a simple alignment line. But on the bottom, I took an image of a Cooper's hawk, which was the hawk for Raptor Creek Farm. And I engraved that. It's white with all the feathers and tons of detail. I posted that on my story yesterday, got couple thousand views on it and people loving it because it's just really detailed. But that's going to be up for auction. I don't know whether they're doing silent or live for that one, but let's bid that one up. I think the most I've ever heard of someone selling one of my putters for, I did one for a charity Dreams Come True in Florida, where Jupiter, Florida, all the golfers, rich people there, made one that told the story of one of the kids who had cancer and is on the other side of it, thankfully. That one went for $6,000. So most of my putters are in like the 1 to 3 range. Most of them average like 1,500. But yeah, they're all handmade and they tell each person's individual story. So it's always something fun. It provides me flexibility. I can hang out with my kids when I want, go golfing when I want, and make crazy putters that tell special stories when I want. So any questions?
It's not a mass production operation. How long does it make one?
Great question. Depends. Typically it's like a 1 to 2 month operation. So depending, it all depends on where I can start in the process. So process start to finish, the short of it. Take wood, I have to dry it completely and I weigh it down to the gram to see when it stops dropping moisture as it's heated up. And then I put it into a vacuum chamber with this juice in it that all the air comes out, the juice goes inside, and then I bake it. That process takes a couple days to a week to more because I don't want the wood to crack. Then what I do is I'll pour acrylic on there. That takes another day or two. Then I open it up and add weights. That takes another day or two. Then I do the shaping on it and the engraving. That can take days, weeks, and the artwork can take a long time too. Sometimes people like that artwork with the beach scene where I had to merge people together. That takes me way longer than it should, but when I'm passionate about a cool project, I'll do it right. And then once I've done that, then I've got to shaft it. I try and use local suppliers as much as possible. The lead comes from a guy in Merlin. The gloss that I apply to it, my friend Jesse does it in Paradise or Colonial Valley area. If I powder coat a shaft, Grants Pass powder coating does that. So like when COVID hit and all the supply chain went south, like shafts were the only thing that I kind of struggled with. Other than that, as much as possible, things are local. I use exotic head covers and grips. Sometimes those can take forever. Those are I'm waiting on one of those for a putter that's been cooking for 2 or 3 months. And as soon as that grip and head cover comes in, that gets shipped off. It's about 1 to 2 months. Go for it.
Sounds really complicated. Did you plan this? Not your background in engineering?
Probably not. A lot of it is the problem solving aspect that I learned in the R&D. You know, I had the program in 10 different languages. I've done finite element analysis, shock and vibration. So I understand a lot of how the world works at a materials level. The guy that mentored me had a PhD from MIT in material science, taught me a lot about kind of how to make things work. And then when something doesn't work, how to fix it. So a lot of that. And then, I mean, what I tell people, I don't really mind sharing what I do and how I do it. I've done that for 6+ years on social media, and there's been some copycats, but I'm getting that much better every week. I'm always improving. And so if someone copies me, great. I'm going to be a week ahead next week, and they're not going to be able to catch up. Right. I've done some oil putters for local people. And I've had people reach out, wanting to do things with Live Golf. And I don't agree with a lot of the way they're handling things. I try and stay out of that realm as much as possible. I make 5 to 15 putters a month, if that. I'm not looking for big deals where, I'm making hundreds of putters for some group. I want people who, what's nice is I don't have to do outside sales. Like this is the first time I've done, this doesn't even say, I'm just showing cool stuff, but I don't even pay for marketing ever. Like people find me through my social media, through Reddit, through word of mouth. And then by the time they're calling me, they're stoked. They already know my whole life. They know what my kids look like, and they're just excited to talk to me about my putters. So I don't have to worry about doing deals with the devil, back there first. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Great question. So the person who ordered it, they get to know every step of the way. I use a software called Trello. It's I use it very different than how it's normally used, but it's got checklists and I can upload pictures. And so as soon as I take an order, I upload, I add the person to that board, and then every step of the way, they're getting picture updates of what the putter looks like. And because I'm making a putter that's never existed before, I guarantee people love it. So one way is every step of the way, they get to see a picture. If they don't love something, I'll tweak it until it's perfect. But I actually sent a putter, loved it. It was great. Sent it off. The wife was giving it to her husband. Her husband loved it. 2 weeks later, he contacts me and is like, hey, my wife seems a little bit off. Like, there might be something weird. So I talked to her, and I had put something in the wrong spot. It looked great, but it just was in the wrong spot. He was fine with it, but I had him send it back. I moved it, sent it back to them, and they love it now. So I can't do the, you get what you get, you don't throw a fit, because people are getting something that's never existed before. And I would much rather spend extra time and lose money on a putter to make someone love it and tell their friends than to, get it. I've got all 5-star reviews, everyone I've ever made a putter for. I think I've had like 2 or 3 returns in 6 years. I spent a lot of time making sure people absolutely love my putters, so they tell their friends about it. You got a question?
Yeah, give me a marketing idea.
Sure. All right. Right. Well, so I've made putters out of shotguns. I put shotgun shells in putters. I mean, this is literally since January. These are just some of the coolest ones I've done since then. I've made putters out of Saddam Hussein's chair. I've made putters with ridiculous material. I just made a putter that has sapphire. It's got 3 gemstones in it as the alignment line. People send me the most ridiculous things and I turn those into putters. So yeah, I could talk for hours and hours about all sorts of crazy putters I've made. And then I used to do some other accessories and different things, but I know every single person I've made a putter for in the past several years. And I can tell you about every single putter I've ever made and why I did it, because, and you know, where it was when I was on the phone talking to them about it and what stories actually matter. That is what I love. In my engineering world, I spent a lot of time talking to government grunts that were the most boring people in the world and never got anything. It was a nightmare. But with this, I'm talking to people who get excited about it. And then when they get it, they send me these just glowing messages. I just made one for a guy that I met at the Bandon Solstice last year, where you play 72 holes in one day. He's going back and he sent me some red oak and then some silver. And there's this tree called the ghost tree. It's a dead, crazy looking tree in Bandon at the course. And so I actually had King Jewelers do it for me. I had it because I tried and it wasn't working. Melted that silver into the shape of that ghost tree and put that as the alignment line. So now he's going to be playing at Bandon next week with putter that is red oak from his house, and then the silver that was his, and the ghost tree that he loves. So I'm looking forward to seeing the picture of that ghost tree in front of it. Yes. So Instagram is where I post a lot of stuff. What's hard is a lot of people want to do surprises so that they don't want me to post about the putter until the person gets it, which means there's a lot of times I don't post anything for a week or two because I can't, because it's all stuff that people haven't gotten yet. But then I'll tell the story on Instagram. I'll tell the story on Reddit. And then, yeah, I mean, I've got a brain that remembers a lot of things weirdly, and numbers and putter stories are one of them. So just about every putter I've done, I can tell you at least the latest ones. And that's what I love. I went to doing the special ones. You know, I did some stock stuff for a while and tried different things where, you know, just making a putter that looks cool, but doesn't have a story. And I started realizing I don't know who I made that for. And I didn't like that. So now I know every person I made a putter for in the past 3-4 years. Yeah. Style or contour of your putter that have a specific meaning to you? Yes and no. I have like 8 different shapes I'll do, but the way I design these putter shapes is what are people currently using, and what do they usually want a putter that looks like what they're currently using. And the TaylorMade Spider is a putter that matches that shape. It's very popular. And then with the wood, it looks cool. It's square aspect ratio. If you're doing artwork, that often works well. The feel on it's great. It's really solid. And I post so many of them that when people see that, they want one like that. So, and then from the weight standpoint, there's 7 weights inside that. They're symmetrically placed. I can make the weight anywhere from 320 grams to 420 grams with just doing some different calculations for how much lead to put inside of it. So most of them end up being the Widowmaker, but not all. Yeah. Yeah. So for head covers, so my standard one, I didn't bring it, but my standard one has a beaver on it that looks like Smokey the Bear, and it's pointing at you. And then on the clasp, it's got a National Forest looking sign that says, "Only you can prevent 3 putts." It's cute. It's fun. I'll do leather ones as well. But what's fun is I've got a guy in Ohio named Eber that will hand make me exotic stuff. So this is lizard. So lizard head cover. We went through a lot of iterations to get like the padding just right. It's magnetic, like super satisfying clasp. And this one's over $3,000 and it's shipping off to Vietnam today. Oh, the head cover, about 200. And then matching grips too. This one, she wanted blue and orange, but then I made them out of gator, ostrich, elephant. I mean, sometimes I do, not always. Ones like this, it's with the Bradley and they just know. I'm not too worried about brand recognition. Like people that know, they know. Thank you. I think it's probably my time, but thank you so much. And I'll be here I've got some stuff I can show you. So thank you.
Wow, I kind of wish I was a golfer. Okay, Kelly Moody. Come on up for Sergeant at Arms. Everybody get your happy bucks out. If you have a happy buck, you're gonna have to come to the front of the room. So if you know you're gonna share a happy buck, you might start queuing up.
So now I'm thinking I need to learn to play golf. And you built them for left-handed people?
I'm lefty, so yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. It's not.
Get it stay close to the mic.
Oh, the camera.
Gotcha. Okay, so just real quickly, if you have read the Courier lately, a couple of amazing women have passed on. One of them, Midge Shaw, the other one, Midge Shaw, I used to teach with her, at the college. And the other one is Mary Bradford, we call her Mimi, that's Margaret's mama. And wow, to read that obituary, Margaret, you had to have written that. It was done by a journalist. Yeah. So we're gonna start out, I never last week had time to talk to you a wee bit about June. This is the month of June. Did you know that the national fruit in June is the watermelon? That makes sense, doesn't it? I thought it did. I thought this was curious. The Eiffel Tower expands 6 inches in the summer. But then it contracts that in the winter. Mosquitoes, well, that would be they sort of appear out of nowhere. Frisbee is a national sport, and that happens. And there are also those that will tell you that Frisbee is more than a sport. It's sort of it's got a spiritual side. And for more details on that, we have Bruce Kramer. That will tell you all about that. More than 20 billion hot dogs will be eaten during the summer, just so you know. And one other thing I wanted to mention to you is that there are many music festivals that go on during the summer, particularly in June. And we have our own course, our upcoming Porch Fest, which here's a plug. Get over there and do some things. I'm going to that. But the other thing is you should know that the Florida Keys has a really cool festival for music. Did you know that it's underwater? Yeah, they do one underwater. I actually need to do some research on that and find out how the heck they do that. But anyway, more about that. Happy bucks, sad bucks, comfort bucks. What do you have? Get those hands up. No? Well, I have, go ahead, Debbie. I have 5 happy bucks because I see Tommy's face up there on Zoom. She's back.
Well, so I just attended 5 different high school graduations for Grants Pass high schools, and so I just attended 5 different high school graduations for District 7, and I love this time of the year. I love seeing those kids, all the hard work they put into it. People say I've got a thankless job, and I feel like I'm thanked to the brim every time somebody gets their diploma. And so and I always think of the bright future these people have in front of them. And well, so frankly, there's a verse in the Bible about the whole world is standing on tiptoe, holding their breath, just waiting to see the wonderful things these people are going to do. And that's how I feel right now. So I'm grateful.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anybody up there with their hands up? Okay, so Tommy, okay, you're on, Tommy.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I have 25 happy bucks because I made it through all of that stuff and it wasn't near as horrible as I thought it would be. And of course I was anxious, but all is well and I'm happy to be back.
This is an announcement and happy bucks.
It's okay.
Is there anything else I should do?
I'm being your teacher.
All right. Anyway, there's a concert tonight at the Art Museum.
at 7 o'clock, this fellow named Go Kurosawa. He's a Japanese man, but he's lived in America. Incredible music, very unusual, original stuff. Anyway, and he spent the last 2 nights with us. He's been our guest,
Oh, wow.
and he's a really cool guy. He's so much fun to be around. He's very interesting to talk to. His name is G-O-H Kurosawa,
What's he playing?
and he plays a big guitar that he calls the Beast. And it is unusual, original music that he creates himself. Anyway, if you're not doing anything tonight at 7 o'clock at the Art Museum.
Thank you.
I can do the rumble. I always thought.
Today was my last day with the Parkside Elementary kids, and I got a hug from every single student. And some of them said, "I love you," and it was like the best day.
Oh, that's wonderful. Love that. Okay.
Yeah, I want to thank Leonora. I don't know if she's in here or not, but she did an awful lot of work. She and I and a gentleman who's homeless have made over the last month or so, I think about 30 pieces of yard art that'll be for sale at the the Art in the Garden tour this Saturday. Our stuff will be at Patty and Jed's house, Patty Keller, Jed Keller, Patty Hansen's house. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, it's there, and Leonora did most of the painting. It's pretty fantastic stuff. And want to say thanks to her, but she's not here for it.
And that's a good plug for Art in the Garden this weekend. Hopefully you're gonna show up. Wow, Hyla put so much into this, and it's well worth the time.
I'm happy that last night we had our office picnic at my home.
Put it closer.
Get it closer. Okay. We had our office picnic at my home, and Anastasia and her mother, Christina, gave awards out to various agents, and I'm proud of them and proud of my daughter, and glad she's here at the Rotary meeting today.
Yay.
Okay, Julie, back to you.
Thank you. All right. By the end of this month, we're all going to be experts on how to use this microphone. And hopefully also we will have a solution that allows us to take the microphone remote with us. So we're working on it. Okay, next week we have an Oregon Caves update from Sue Densmore. So that should be a really interesting program. And your thought of the day, today is Upsy Daisy Day, all about approaching life with a positive attitude. So I have a quote from Bruce Lee: choose the positive. You have choice. You are master of your attitude. Choose the positive, the constructive. Optimism is a faith that leads to success. All right. And with that, we will see you all next week. Have a great day. Oh, yes, if you are a board member, please come up to the front so we can have a quick stand-up meeting.